for joining us on today's podcast. The topic for today is Azure-based generative AI. So today we have with us Abdul Hussain, who's an industry expert, and I will be the host, Antrish Goel. I work as an executive marketing at CloudMoyo. Abdul, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Antrish. Hey guys, I'm Abdul Hussain. I am working with CloudMoyo as a program manager. I'm a technology enthusiast, love to know about new technological trends that's evolving, and we are already in an era where technology is really growing, evolving with times. We have robots, we have AI, so yeah, that's really interesting where we are moving, and a lot of times we keep thinking like is the robots going to be replacing us? But yeah, we'll talk about it more. But yes, before we reach there. I have worked with IBM and I have been a part of a couple of technological events like Hackathon, Call for Code, TechFest, etc. That just keeps me closer to the technological trends and keeps me more aware about what's going on.
Okay, so before we dive into the actual topic, I actually had Gen AI write an awesome joke for us. So, Abdul, can you tell me why was a computer feeling cold?
I don't know.
Because it left the windows open. So Abdul, my first question right off the top is that the most prominent use case of generative AI is ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
I know the first time I actually came across the use case was ChatGPT. I got to know about it from a friend of mine who's like, okay, ChatGPT can do this, it can do this, it can write a new Harry Potter script for you. This is like, but yeah, that was the first time I came across it. But I want to know what are the types of content that generative AI can produce, and can it be used for any industry, or can any company use it enterprise-wide?
Yes, of course. Generative AI is capable of wide array of things.
Yeah.
Like it is as good as a human mind. Like whatever you think and visualize in your head, images, artwork, videos. It could be music, audios, or even some product designs.
Right.
Coding something in the application.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing something about the industry. If I want to learn about an industry, their domain, their way of working and functioning. So it's pretty capable of generating a lot of. It has a plethora of data within it. So to make it simple, it just makes it evident that generative AI is industry agnostic.
Yeah.
Right? It can literally be positioned to optimize any operations at every kind of business.
So I know everyone has been, at least on an individual level, I think everyone has been leveraging generative AI a lot. They're using ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, whatever. But I wanted to know, while AI has endless possibilities to offer, while generative AI has endless possibilities, do you think there is something that we should be concerned about while we use generative AI? Do you think there is anything related to data security that all of us should know about? I mean, day in and out, the basic principle behind all of this is we input some data and then we get some data out of it. So the data that we input, how do we know that it's secure is what my concern is, and what is the workaround for that? I want to know basically.
So how generative AI works is that you feed data into the system, it processes the data and generates new data for you.
Right.
I mean, and every time you feed into it, it will not give you the same response.
Yeah.
It keeps improvising the response and keeps asking you the feedback. It's a continuous process of feeding data and validation. So the language model gets trained constantly to provide you with more and more insights. Which is good. Why that is good, you should know that data is continuously being shared outside your organization, and that's where think of letting it a very smart yet a mischievous pet into your home.
Yeah.
Right. However, the good news is the organizations are increasingly conscious about the data security.
Right.
We have GDPR, we have a lot of laws in Europe and US which are meant to control the data security and keeping the anonymity in it as well.
Right.
So, I mean, with this security concerns, we don't want organizations to hold back on using the Gen AI or try to anonymize the data. Right? So we wanted to leverage the technology, but not having to compromise the security, of course. And now that we have Azure AI, which comes into play, it's like a parent, keeping up, setting up those parental controls, and something like safety gates to make sure that Gen AI is behaving responsibly.
So Azure OpenAI, right? As you mentioned, Azure OpenAI has been here for quite some time. Now we know that Microsoft is obviously a huge giant tech, so is OpenAI. I wanted to know that what is this collaborative effort exactly? Mm-hmm. Could you describe it for our users, and could you also tell a few benefits of Azure OpenAI that the end user can leverage today?
Sure. So think of Microsoft and OpenAI like as two superheroes, Batman and Superman, joining forces together, right? So they're two separate superheroes, but together they can form even more dynamic duo. So Azure AI has all the ChatGPT model in it, and by now we've already experienced how ChatGPT is and how promising it is. So enterprise promises of security and OpenAI with commendable expertise of Gen AI applications can do wonders, for organizations. Azure AI ensures that your data is within the bounds of the organization, right? And Azure AI rides on a foundation of enterprise security with all the highest security standards and what you can expect from a cloud solution, and what you can depend on, and where does the data privacy remains, and it's all posted on your tenant, right? So the data privacy is maintained, and it remains on the customer tenant.
Okay, so today if I want to use Azure OpenAI, I can do it. I can log into the AI Studio app. I can actually use it pretty easily. They have a guide and everything. But how do you think it is different when I want to use it for my enterprise, for my organization? How do I leverage it enterprise-wide? Is there a difference at all? So I want to know what the difference is, and how can CloudMoyo possibly come in to implement the entire solution for other organizations? So could you just throw some light on that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So let's take it this way. When it comes to AI, it's like teaching a pet parrot to recite a Shakespeare. At an individual level, it might seem straightforward, but when the entire organization wants to perform, things start getting complex. So let's say if you want to create a ChatGPT-like application for your organization, right? Firstly, the amount of data that needs to be input for making the application. Training the AI is enormous because data is huge. Data would be, the data is in an unstructured format. If you look at it. The sources are too many sources, of course the data is unstructured. You need an expert who can help with data pre-processing. When it comes to the model architecture, think of it like designing a blueprint for a house. Right? CloudMoyo creates a plan for how AI should work, what parts it needs, and how they should connect. Right? So when you're buying a new house, you buy a piece of land, you call for an architect to design, and the thought process that goes into it, what kind of data, where does it fit, how should it be designed, how should the architecture look like, all those thought process is the part of your pre-processing. Right? The training process, so once you have the blueprints, the training process comes into the picture. CloudMoyo helps the AI to learn from a lot of examples. So it knows how to do it well, and it's like practicing a trick many times until you get it right. And that's where and like we said, the AI evolves from learning and learning the patterns, learning the data, and learning the responses from the user, validations from the user validations we're talking about. So that's the next step, validation and evaluation of the data. So CloudMoyo makes sure that the AI is doing the job by giving us tests, right, and checking its answers. So when the AI is giving you an input, allows you to validate the answers. You might have seen, you either a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
These are the ways of validating the data and the responses that the AI is producing. So like making you answered all the questions correctly on a test, right? So that's how it works from the validation part. And then the last part which comes is the deployment. CloudMoyo AI also helps. CloudMoyo also helps the AI to move from learning phases to actually doing its job for reader. And the final part around it, to add the cherry on the cake, is something like customization and maintenance. Now, that's where the final part comes in. Right? CloudMoyo makes sure that AI continues to work well over time, and they can also make it better if needed.
Okay, lastly, we have a section where we have asked Azure AI Studio some very interesting and specific questions. Okay, so the first question is, do you think AI will take over the world like they show in the movie Terminator? It says, as an AI language model, I don't have beliefs like humans. However, the idea of taking over the world like in the movie Terminator is a popular sci-fi concept, but it is highly unlikely to happen in reality. AI systems are designed and programmed to perform specific tasks and functions, and they do not have the capability to develop their consciousness or intentions to take over the world. Additionally, AI systems are developed and controlled by humans who have the ability to monitor and regulate their behavior. Therefore, AI taking over the world is not a realistic scenario. Question 2. Write me a tongue twister on data security. This is an interesting one. It says, diligent data defenders do their darndest to diligently defend data from devious digital delinquent. Third question. Explain how Azure OpenAI can be used and is beneficial in just 2 lines. Azure OpenAI can be used to develop and deploy AI models at scale, and it is beneficial because it allows businesses to accelerate their digital transformation and gain insights from large amounts of data. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you have any further questions related to Azure OpenAI or any queries related to generative AI, please feel free to reach out to us at marketing@cloudmoyo.com or just head to our website www.cloudmoyo.com. Abdul, thank you so much for joining us today. And are there any few words you would like to share with the audience?
So that's I guess we had this was an interesting talk, and yes, Gen AI is the future, which a lot of industries are adapting, and we look forward, as collaborating with our customers and giving them the best of the solution if we could.
Absolutely, that is what we're here for. Looking forward to connecting with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.